Welcome to Hat-Trick City on WXCI 91.7, Danbury's only all-hockey radio show.
I know that some in our audience don't know the finer points of hockey.
You want me to dummy you again?
Hat tricks, baby! Woo-hoo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hat-Trick City. I'm your host, DJ Patty Cake. As always, joined here in the studio by DJ Uncle Matt. This week, we got a few things to talk about in regards to last weekend. Definitely a rough one for the boys. Going up to New York for two games, one against Bingo and one against Elmira. Both ended up in 4-2 losses. And both games seemed within our reach, which is kind of the frustrating part about the weekend. Honestly, Friday I was a little busy, so I didn't get to catch much of that game, and same thing with Saturday. But from what I did catch, it didn't look too promising as far as, you know, being close and taking advantage of it. Any thoughts on that?
Again, just disappointing, the outcome. It's been hard to it's been disheartening at times, and a lot of the time, I guess, this season. I think that you have to have hope that in the first half of the new year and the second half of this season, maybe there'll be some roster shakeups at a higher level that'll bring us back to the real threatening force that we were last season or close to that. Right now, it's about getting a nucleus to gel and working with guys that are, they're competing hard. It's a younger lineup. We took a look. We might as well talk about what we just did. So we pulled up a picture from the championship game last season. Pat and I did just now. And through the magic of Photoshop, we kind of
crossed out whoever was
digitally
crossed
we've
out.
Digitally released the players, kind of faded them out one at a time, and I think, I think we're down to 8 or 9 players. If you count one player who was an assistant coach last season and has now played in games this season, it's about half of the lineup of the faces. Some guys that were used sparingly in the playoffs are no longer here. It's a different team. It's tough losing like this consistently. It's just not fun for anybody, and it definitely drives the morale down, not just among I'm sure the players are upset at times, although they've always done a good job, these guys, of holding their head high and kind of dealing with things as they come. The nucleus, the core guys that have been here. But again, it's just not easy. It's not easy with the breaks that we've gotten recently, and it goes down to the fans. The fans are impacted by this, and it's nice to see different things happening. It looks like there's a little movement among the fans. I see. Sounds like Animal House is going to be getting a branded kind of section. There'll be more signage for Animal House as soon as this season. Like I said, I've proposed a few different things myself that I think will just kind of show a little bit of reinvestment and commitment to the fans. It's hard, not just on the players, but on the fans when we endure these tough times. And last weekend was just a perfect example of a tough time, and I'm sure everybody's glad it's over. And there's a new opportunity to play again against Port Huron this weekend at home. With kind of holiday spirits, pretty high, and I think the opportunity is there, but we can't take Port Huron lightly. They're in fourth place in the Continental Division, but I think with 6 regular wins, 7 losses, I guess 2 overtime losses, and then just 1 overtime win with 22 points. So again, there's a home ice advantage to be accounted for, but if you're looking at the standings, we're not identical, but we're right there. We're right there with them, just in the opposite division. So it's going to be interesting to see how we come out.
Yeah, honestly, I'm excited for the weekend. Obviously, again, holiday spirits are high around this time, and hopefully that kind of adds a little oomph to our game. I don't know if it will.
Yeah, you can't guarantee anything, but I think the energy is going to be right for Danbury hockey.
Little Christmas spirit in there.
Yeah, and I think that it's time for things to kind of turn around. Hopefully, we make we're hearing on the back end, few different channels, probably all over Facebook, that have been some roster changes recently, and there'll probably be more announced by the time the show airs within an hour or so from now.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting time, and I honestly think that this is a great way to end the year, with 2 games at home versus a team with a similar record. And
we do have one more home game after this, the 30th.
Oh, that's right, the 30th.
Against
That's right.
Binghamton.
Well, you're rounding out the year with this opportunity here. So again, it's a way to bring momentum into that game, and into next year. If we can put 3 wins together, or you get these 2 right here, you're making noise again, and it'd be a good opportunity right now to at home, like you said, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of holiday cheer, and people will be toasting their holiday spirits. So, like I said, I'm hoping that this is some old-fashioned Danbury hockey this weekend, and we get it done.
Same here, and couldn't be more excited. Always love coming to the rink, working the games, and stay tuned for a great. Oh, unless you got one more thing.
Yeah, I want to say one more quick thing before we go.
Ahead. Oh, go ahead.
If there are people out there that listen to this show that never played hockey before, and they're interested in trying, or they played a long time ago and they're interested in trying, get in touch with us, because we've been putting together these novice adult skates. I've been kind of organizing them. Jim Hutchison from Peach Wave, he's been playing, and Calvin Savoya. Even Pat has shown up once or twice. So it'd be fantastic if anybody out there who hasn't played in years. This is not for like people who played in college or are the best guy in their beer league team now. It's people curious. Get in touch with us either through the Hat Trick City Instagram or the Top Hat Hockey Instagram, which is kind of the name of the group, and come meet us.
For sure. Yeah, definitely trying to get into that more. Been a little busy as of late, but yeah, we'd definitely like to see more people get in there. So without further ado, here's our fantastic interview with Brandon Stojcevski.
Hey, this is Corey Anderson, forever forward of the Danbury Hat Tricks, and you're listening to Hat Trick City on WXCI.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hat Trick City. I'm your host, DJ Patty Cake, as always joined by DJ Uncle Matt here in the studio. This week on the show, we got Brandon Stojcevski on the show. Brandon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course, of course.
Welcome to the show, Brandon. It's a pleasure. We really haven't gotten a chance to catch up with you yet, so it's nice to have you on the show. Listen, we're coming off a rough weekend for the Hat Tricks, but kind of to move on to the next thing, like I said, it's great to have you here. So another guy, I guess, from the Toronto area coming in, but coming from kind of a very familiar place to Federal Hockey League fans and Hat Trick fans, the Greater Metro Hockey League, right? It's a pretty rough and tumble league, right? Tell us about your experience.
Yeah, it is. So I played my 21-year-old year of junior there. So our junior B and junior A leagues, you can only play till you're 20 and turn 21, but this league, they let you have the extra year. So it's funny enough, I was telling him that I played against Marchie there for pretty much all my junior career in junior B and there. So I played there for I think 15 games my last 21-year-old year, and then before that I played in the GOJHL, which is junior B up there for 2 years. Not a long junior career.
So how does it happen like that you have such a short junior career? Where were you playing kind of before that? How old are you?
So I'm 23.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got a story about just coming up. So I was playing AAA all the way until I was about 13, 14, and so I a little bit of a late boomer. I didn't grow from, I'd say, 12 years old to about 17. I was 5 foot tall. So my OHL draft year, I was 16, 17, 5 foot tall, 130 pounds. So I remember I was trying out for teams, and every team said I was too small. So I got cut from my AAA team and a bunch of teams around. And then remember so I was 14, still that same height. I thought, give it a shot to try to make a team, and I ended up breaking my arm in a tryout.
Wow.
Got into the boards, broke my arm. Then ever since then, I just started growing, and but I always just stayed focused. I always wanted to play, so yeah.
That's tough, man. And you end up here. So what? I'm sure that some of the listeners and stuff, when they look at it, we're talking about a short elite prospects page that you have. What's kind of your options coming out of that Greater Metro? You're over age at that point, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really go to college, can you?
Yeah, so not really. It's a tough league to try to get recruitment out of. The league I was in before, that's a really good league. It's on pace with our junior A league out there, right? But I did lose my last year due to COVID, so I couldn't even play my last year. As you can see, I only played 1 year in that league, so I was still a rookie coming there. Because after I finally grew and developed and grew with my body, I was able to finally make junior, and then it just sucked that 1 year later. It just kind of taken away from me. But so I was actually in university full time. I was 5 years in University of Toronto. Finished with a kinesiology degree, so I was already in school. I did talk to a couple D3 schools, but they just weren't in the cards for me just because I was already in school. And coming out, I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know where I was going to go. And then remember, so I was, where was I? I was on a little trip away with my girlfriend because she was leaving to go to optometry school near Boston, and we just went away for a few days. I remember I was getting a call from Danbury, and obviously I know what Danbury is from the documentary, and hear everything all about it all over social media, especially seeing Ames all over my For You page, or just everywhere. So I'm like, Danbury's calling me. I'm like, what? And then I answered the phone, talked to Billy. This was in 2022, so just coming out of that league, and I told me a little bit about it, and I was thinking about it, but at that time I had a lot of stuff going on at home, mom's health, and just I also wanted to finish school. It was my last year of school at that point, so I wanted to finish that before I took off to play. So I just told Billy that, and then last year I took it completely off, just finished school, just focused on training, getting myself ready both physically and mentally, because I was a lot smaller last year. Last year was only 170 pounds. Wow. So I made sure coming to these leagues and pro, it's a whole different game. There's a lot of really good hockey players here, and I made sure to put on weight to be ready. But that's something you don't expect out here. It's there's a lot of good hockey players, especially on our team, but across all these leagues and everything.
Yeah, there's University of Toronto. I think last season did they play Quinnipiac in an exhibition game? I think they did. So so Canadian college, were you just not interested, or just a little, maybe a touch harder to get a spot type of a thing? What was the story with Canadian college for you?
Yeah, so because I was always behind the eight ball, I was just developing and just trying to grow into my body and be ready. So it's a long road to get to where I am now. But when I started university at 18. Right, a lot of guys, what they do is just play hockey, and then once they finish junior, then they commit to a school. I started 18. My parents really wanted me to go, and obviously I had a really good opportunity to go to a really good school and a good program, so I just took it because I didn't know where hockey was at that point because, still not playing and still trying. And, I want to say I was ready at it. Those ages, no, I was still like physically not ready yet and just try to get my feet wet in junior and everything. And then in my last year, so my fifth year, I had a chance, like, just go to training camp and everything. But at that point, I'm a fifth year senior, like, team's already set. It's very hard to just come in there again with the lack of resume, right? It was very difficult just to walk in there and make a team. But King University is really good hockey. I'd say it's just under the D1 level. But, they compete with the good D1 teams, and they're a good team.
Do you know what happened in that game between Quinnipiac and University of Toronto, just to put it in perspective for people?
Yeah, so Quinnipiac ended up winning that game 4-2. Regulation was
That's a pretty close game.
Yeah, exhibition.
That's a pretty close game. You youngins might not know, but a fantastic, fantastic movie that was actually based on a college in Connecticut was shot at the University of Toronto.
Really?
That's not a big enough hint for either of you guys, but it starred Jeremy Piven and Jon Favreau and I'm trying to think who else was there. Quite a few. What's that guy's name? David Spade's in it. It's called PCU. You guys ever hear that movie?
PCU? No.
So it's just basically about in the 90s when kind of similar to today, except there was probably way more people in college. Was like political correctness was seen to have been out of control on college campuses, and this movie was kind of like making fun of that.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of like this stoner frat house comedy. It's hysterical. You should watch it tonight because you'll see them walking around the University of Toronto. I have like a whole crazy side story about that, but I'll tell it at another date. So, Brandon, where was your family from originally?
So my background, I'm Macedonian, right? That's why everybody has trouble saying my last name. So I was waiting for you guys to ask that. But yeah, so I'm Macedonian, small country in Europe, but my mother was actually born there. So again, my dad is also Macedonian too, so they're both from there. My dad was... he's actually born in Toronto, but our grandparents are from there, so they all came over. My mom was born there. And
who's the one Macedonian NHL player? Come on, you got to know this.
There's multiple. There's
only one that I know of.
Steven Stamkos.
He's Macedonian? I thought he was Greek.
No, Macedonian. My dad's actually pretty good friends with his dad.
Eddie Jovanovski,
first overall pick. Yes, we got 2 first overall picks.
And you know who's Macedonian? The crazy mustache classic goalie Vasil.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's ready to move back there and
That's
stuff.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And then you also got the Tanev brothers too.
Yeah.
So they actually grew up in East York, so they went to the same high school as them. And Brandon had the same kind of similar story too. And when he was in like 9th grade, he was 4'11", like 95 pounds.
Do you guys speak Greek at home or?
No, Macedonian.
It's Macedonian is its own language.
Separate, yeah.
Many, but I'm terrible with geography.
Yeah.
Macedonia and Greece, are they like on the border of one another?
Is
there some back and forth between the people there?
There has been
historically and stuff.
Yeah. But we are our own country.
I know it's its own country.
There has been. We're just above Greece, and then you have like Albania on one side and
right
Bulgaria on one side. But yeah, it's just in that little pocket there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Ed Jovanovski, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but he's
pretty good career.
Great NHL career, and I think a really respected guy. I think his dad actually played.
It was soccer.
I think it was. Yeah, his dad played some soccer.
He started hockey when he was like 13 years old.
Something crazy like that.
That's
when they moved to
ridiculous.
Canada, he started hockey.
Yeah.
He was a big guy too.
5 years later,
Jovo Cop.
Yeah, 5 years later, he's a first overall pick. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Is there a I don't know. Is there a Macedonian neighborhood in Toronto?
There is like my pocket, a lot of Eastern Europeans or European pocket. Like back when my grandparents came in and our parents there was a pretty big Macedonian population then too. So that's where all in that same community in East York there's a lot of Europeans around there. So yeah, that's where it's in that pocket there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
is he Hall of Famer, Ed Jovanovski?
No, he's not.
No, but he had a good career.
No, he didn't. Excellent career.
Did he win a gold medal with Canada? Probably.
He did, I believe in 02. Right?
Yeah, had to have won a gold medal.
Yeah, no, too.
Yeah, what a great player. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize Stamkos was Macedonian, but I guess I should. And shout out to Vasilius Markou. who is a Mustache Classic Hall of Famer and pretty much a legend in pickup hockey in Queens at this point. Basil, shout out to you.
Shout out.
So you come from Toronto. We kind of ask all the Canadian guys who come through here, what's your impression of the fan base and the kind of attention that Danbury hockey that hockey gets in Danbury? What's kind of your impression of the community around hockey here?
Here, it's pretty nuts. Like first game here, so the first Saturday home opener against Watertown. Like, you have no idea what to expect because again, you see Danbury all over social media, like from Ames' mic'd up videos or just everything. There's so much all over everything, and obviously, I watched a few games last year because, like I said, I was gonna come down here last year, so I kept up with the team and everything, and it's just nuts until like seeing it, hearing it, and all that stuff is one thing, but until you're actually playing out, I remember that first home opener was you got to be close to 3,000 people there. It's nuts, and it was just so loud, and just saw the fans, or especially section 102, you see them yelling, and it's pretty crazy, to be honest. It's very fun to play at home. I was telling him before we started, I was just like, we hate playing on the road. Okay? We just so happy we got home games this weekend to play at home in front of the fans because we have the best fans in the league, for sure.
What's it like being a guy that really took a whole year off from any type of, I guess you'd say, relevant, you know what I mean, type of. Did you play in men's league? Did you play any senior hockey? No, nothing.
No. So I said, as I said last year, I wanted to just get ready physically. So I did put on 30 pounds of weight coming into this year, and I was honestly just training a lot, in the gym a lot, and on the ice a lot. A lot of stuff was just kind of by myself. Like I wasn't going to like any skills trainers or working out at a gym with like a trainer. Just kind of working out on my own and just getting myself ready. I knew I still wanted to play. Right, I love the game, and I couldn't wait to get down here. So I just made sure to get physically and mentally ready to play season. So yeah, it was just it was a long year. Like I remember last year in like November around this time, I was like, I just wanted next year to come so I could just come down. Right, it was just a long road, but I'm so happy to be here.
Are you a guy that watches a lot on TV? You a Leafs fan?
Yeah, I am a Leafs fan. I'm more of a Red Wings fan.
Wow.
Last time because I got a lot of my mom's family lives in Michigan. So just growing up, always being down there, I just love the Red Wings, and they were so good at that time. One of my favorite players is Datsuk. So
interesting juxtaposition between you and head coach Billy McCreary, who's a diehard Leafs fan, yet he is from Michigan.
Yeah. So still love the Leafs. Don't get me wrong. It kind of sucks every year, same result, but but I do watch a lot of hockey. That's how. I'm one of those guys where I just love watching highlights on so many guys. That's why I pick up and learn things, right? When I see guys do it, then I try to add it to my own game. So
who are the guys you watch?
Honestly, like I said, Datsuk, Barkov, a lot of like two-way centers. That's what I try to model my game after. And then honestly, I love watching older hockey. So like, all the old like Russians, like the McGillneys and Fedorovs and Kovalevs, a lot of skill guys like that, just to see how they like thought the game and moved around the ice, which teaches me a lot. Like I always pick up on those little things and try to implement them in my game. So I want to say I had like a favorite player because I just try to pick up on a lot of different players' games and then try to add to mine. But yeah.
It's really interesting. I started watching on YouTube. This is something awesome, and I don't think you guys are quite old enough to appreciate this yet, but I started watching NHL games from the 90s on like full games that they have, like random. I've been watching a lot of Whalers games, like Whalers versus Rangers. There's one from the 90s with, I think, Messier and Gretzky are playing for the Rangers, and the Whalers are actually. I haven't watched the full. It's like one of those things where it's in my YouTube, and I go back to it every time. I haven't been able to watch the full game just because I usually watch it while I'm like kind of surfing around late at night. But like there's something really cool about watching those games, and I think that in as long as this YouTube stuff continues, or maybe there's some stuff you guys are interested in watching now, but like. As long as it continues, that's going to be a cool ritual of looking back. I mean, you're looking at the 97 Whalers. It's like the end of the 97 season, right? So the 96, 97 season. So it's like
I watched the end of that one. Or was that full game against Tampa? That was a Interesting one to watch.
And there's that full game you can watch. But I'm just like, I've seen games, where the team is still pretty much straight ahead, straight ahead.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's a really cool ritual to watch that now, to see those old games, to see the Hartford Civic Center as an NHL arena in the 90s. I mean, I think that's really cool. And the way that the YouTubers, one of the things that is cool about YouTube, you can learn so much about hockey or just kind of be reminded of it. You know what I mean? Like some of these YouTubers are doing good lists. I haven't seen him put up stuff in a while, but that guy Rob Talks Hockey. You ever watch him? He was great. And then what's the British dude? Hockey fans. What's his name?
I don't know. Like I feel like I've seen that.
I've seen his stuff too.
once.
I've heard his name.
Yeah, and he does.
I watch so many people.
He does that weird thing where he redrafts a whole draft, starting with the worst players or something like that. It's just a bizarre.
Redrafts.
Like he does these redrafts where it's like I forget if he picks the worst players first or the best players first. Like if you were really picking it, he does a couple of different things. So like that's such a cool part of watching now too, is like and even the highlights, like that's another cool thing about YouTube now is like if you're a guy who plays defense, if you're a guy who plays wing and you have a certain player that you like, there's so much of that content out there now. Like think about it, like if you were I guess you guys can't think about it, like if you were a kid 25 years ago, the only way you could see a Chris Chelios highlight is if you watch SportsCenter. Yeah. And that was it. Like there's just no other way.
See, that's what it is too. When you watch
30 years ago.
I was having a conversation today because one of the guys on our team was saying like, if he's Murray, by the way, our new goalie, he was trying to say like, talk about eras, different eras. I'm like, you really can't compare eras. You can't say let's put McDavid in the 80s and 90s. Because the game's evolved so much, and like you said, all that little stuff adds up. Like whether it's the skill training now versus back then, the training overall, watching video, just the game has evolved so much that like it's very hard to look at, like to even think about that. Like it's like I said, watching has a big part of what I do. Not even having that. Such
what year were you guys born?
2003.
So
03?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So there was still, I'm pretty sure there was still two-line passing when you guys were born. There was still, you couldn't pass the puck over
They took it out,
line.
I think, in 05.
After the
That's what a lot of guys don't know is back in those games.
Very different game.
Yeah,
It's a very different game in the neutral zone.
Way different.
It's nothing like it is today in terms of speed. It's just, and you know what's crazy about it? And again, I always bring beer league hockey into this. I know there's absolutely no correlation between beer league hockey and real hockey, but like, dude, now we're in this era where there's no two-line passing. So people are just watching guys break out, and there's almost no, hey, if we pass the puck once within the zone, we're going to have a better chance at a break because you're going to hit an open guy who's going to see a guy on the other. Yeah. It's just, if I don't get that puck out of the zone by skating it through and probably getting clobbered at some point, I'm failing as a hockey player. Where back then it's like you have to make that extra pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
you think the game way more.
Yeah.
You look at it. Because a lot of people don't understand like how, when people watch old hockey, they try to, talk about it, saying how bad it's been since, compared to today's game. And like those guys were still that good. Like you look at guys can fly. Look at Mike Gardner.
Oh yeah.
All those guys can fly, right? The speed was there but you brought up two-line passing. A lot of people don't understand that, but then all the grabbing and clutching and
tons
how
of
much
that.
Physical the game was, that's what made the game different. Now, like if that was in today's game, the game would be slower as well if that kept that in there. So, but in that time, when you watch Gretzky, you watch all these, play a very different game because you have to think it a lot more. And I don't know, now it's coming back to that where it's getting, more skilled now, but all that hitting and all that stuff's kind of being taken out.
Well, I think that's, and you see that basically in all sports. Like, think about a sport like traditionally, obviously a non-contact sport like basketball. I mean, there's just some point in there where like defense became illegal. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like when, again, I'm not one of those guys. I have this argument with my nephew who's like 22 or whatever all the time. But again, I don't watch enough of the NBA to be an honest judge of it. So I'll give a, that's a precursor to what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But man, when Michael Jordan played and he was out on the 3-point line, you could literally grab his elbow and impede him the best you could. Problem was Michael was going to take 2 steps around you and take off. But what I'm trying to say to you is like that wasn't necessarily a foul. Like getting up against him, using your hand on him to push, that wasn't a foul. Now you do it once, you touch him once. They're trying to get the guy to the free throw line. That's at least my impression. So I can't say that. But again, is the game getting soft? Is hockey getting soft like that? I think so. But at the same time, there's no denying data around head trauma. There's no denying data around any of that stuff. CTE, any of the things that have been associated with these, with being caused by trauma to the body. It happens in hockey. We've seen it. But at the end of the day, I don't think the game is much safer than it ever was. I mean, you see a lot of people throw reckless hits in the NHL. You see it in our league. There's been a series of obviously there's been a series of kind of tough incidents in the Federal League recently. Something happened recently between Columbus and Mississippi that was downright cheap.
That cross-track?
Oh, cheap. Just cheap. Makes it look so cheap. You know what I mean? Like it's, and then you have a guy, listen, I'm not trying to hate, and, I couldn't do any better at all. I'm not a tough guy. I don't play real hockey. But if the guy who did it, I mean, if you have that little point totals and that many, in that amount of games in this league, I mean, I think Amazon or someplace like that is hiring. You know what I mean? Like it's just you might want to try something else, pal. And if you're a tough customer like you say you are, and then other guys came out on Facebook that played with the guy against the guy, I'm just saying at the end of the day, stuff just makes it look cheap. I think we had some weird instances with these recent seizures. Which, listen, I was looking
2 in 1 week almost. Yeah.
I was looking at the first one when that happened. That looked like, to be honest, it looked like it was happening in slow motion without the extra force or intent that we've seen. Not even going to get into Amesbury and his whole situation, but that again, I was literally 100 feet from it in the elevated seats in TK's corner, we call it at Danbury Arena. Just in my mind, finished a little high, but ultimately not the most egregious hit I've seen. And whatever happened who was that guy with Columbus?
Which guy?
What was his name? Nathan?
Yeah, Balkwell. Yeah,
Balkwell?
Yeah.
Has he recovered, that guy?
I believe so. I mean, they gave an update, I think, a day or two after that he was, alert and talking and stuff like that, but then they placed him on IR, so I don't think they placed him on season-ending IR, which was crazy to me, but...
Well, that's one of the things. It's just it would be great to see a little more transparency with that around the league, but at the end of the day, I didn't get the best angle of that one. That also, it didn't look... I'd have to see it right this second, but after a while we got to move on to a new topic. But at the end of the day, that didn't seem like it was a super aggressive or ill-intentioned hit. It just looked like you get an awkward fall and you get the worst type of result, one of the worst types of results.
Because we're playing at such high speeds, right? It just happens, right?
Yeah.
Where if you're committed to making a hit and so the guy cuts back the wrong way. You seen it yesterday. I mean, are you guys both Rangers fans or?
No,
I'm not, but I know what you're talking about.
The Pasternak hit, it did look bad, but he maybe should have let up, but he fully committed to the hit, and then you have a guy that's kind of turning back or
no
back,
good,
right? So it's tough because when you're at full speed like that and you're commit to something, you can't just.
And if your back's turned, you're
tough.
trying to draw the penalty
tough,
too.
of course.
You're trying to draw the penalty. So it's just I think that I think that in the big scheme of things, I think we're reminded it's a dangerous sport. It's so crazy how dangerous. I played again. You never compare it to beer league, but I played in a situation. It's so funny. It's not funny. It's really sad. Or I played in a situation. Ironic for sure, and definitely eerie. Played in a situation, and I guess that was November of, let's say it was 21.
Mhm.
It was the fall or the late summer of 21. And I was playing a beer league at Aviator. Used to be a venue here in the Federal Hockey League. And playing beer league hockey, guys are drinking in the park. Somebody says that somebody inside has been cut. This guy had a gash on his leg. I mean, as wide as the mouth of a soda bottle. The top of a 20-ounce bottle. It was that wide, the mouth.
Wow.
And he was on the ice. And I can't, not that I was going to do CPR or anything, but I want to see if there was any way I could help or I could flag down the EMS or whatever I could do. And I went in and I seen a guy. This is just how crazy life is. And I saw a guy that I know. That guy's name was Jason Walker. And we I kind of gave a handshake and a hug type of a deal. That guy went home and died. So crazy. Isn't it crazy?
Wow.
That guy, Jason, went home and died that night. It was one of the craziest things. And it just goes to show you that there's a certain type of energy out there that we saw it with the Adam Johnson situation, right?
Yeah.
It can be dangerous. Again, I can't believe where that guy's leg was. I mean, again, I think I saw it sped up, and I think I saw some manipulated clips. But at the end of the day, that seemed like a weird position to throw a hit from. But anyway.
Yeah.
So it's tough, and we see it in the league all the time. We should probably move on to what Brandon wants for Christmas. What are you looking for Christmas?
Yeah, there you go.
What's on? What gadget is on the wish list?
I don't know if I have a gadget on the wish list now. Just want to win this weekend. Get 2 wins this weekend. That's about it.
Oh, that's a good for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, this weekend against Port Huron, anything you guys are kind of working on differently as compared to, last weekend?
Honestly, just we have such a good team, right? Like a lot of speed, a lot of skill. I still believe we have the deepest teams in this league, and we haven't truly found our game yet, right? Through 60 minutes, that we have good spurts, and then it's just buying into the process that our coach Billy's put out for us, right?
Yeah.
And we have it. It's just fully committing to that process, trusting it, and everybody doing their job for 60 minutes a night. That's what will get us these wins. And we have a really close team, right? All the boys love each other. We're all so close. So just playing for one another and just everybody just kind of doing their jobs. I think we'll win. Yeah.
What's kind of the tone around practice? How are guys feeling? Is it loose or is it a little more intense right now?
Say right now, like we kind of look at it like it's a new day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I hate losing. All the boys hate losing, right? It's worst feeling, especially we want to win for the city and win for each other. But how we look at it as, we get our takeaways from the game, go over video, so a couple meetings, see, break down kind of what led to our mistakes, whatever, and then it's like we flip a page. And because in this league, right, we play so many games a week, and the season, like we're already 20 games into the season, so we can't really dwell on anything, but we can kind of take away and just do our best to get ready for the next week almost. So that makes sense, yeah.
Who you been like hanging out with mostly on the team? You Toronto guys stick together?
Yeah,
yeah.
So me and Connor have been our roommates now, so we're kind of always together. And then with Bedsy too, Charlie Bedard, he's got called up, so usually him around. Murray.
Where did he get called up to?
He got Fayetteville, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
so and Cody, even younger guy, Cunningham, Corey.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we stuck around him. A whole bunch of us hang out. It's not. It's almost like the whole team is so close. Even ZP, him pretty close. But like, it's like we all kind of hang out, right? We all do stuff together. But
Is there anywhere like around town you guys like to kind of frequent?
the mall,
Everybody loves that mall.
to the movies. Not long ago.
You guys been going to the Tuesday night movies?
We did once. We did once, but then we've been kind of movie nights back at our place. So we just finished. Me and Connor just finished that new Squid Games.
Oh, cool.
Squid Game
Oh,
show,
yeah. Yeah.
which is way different than the actual Squid Game, but it was pretty entertaining. We finished. We watched the whole thing, and then
I know, I've been meaning to watch that. It's been on the list because they're doing another season of that too.
Are they? It's
Yeah.
like you'll see. It's not not great, but it's just entertaining. Like
Yeah,
you just have to get through it.
It's like reality TV
yeah,
now, so it's
pretty entertaining. Yeah.
Did you guys watch that? I don't know why I watched it. It just looked like it was something. Did you guys watch that twin flame thing on Netflix?
I didn't know.
I couldn't figure it. I'll be honest with you. Like, it was all about these people that got sucked into this cult, basically, or this organization that was kind of playing with their minds and all this stuff. And it was like, it was this weird thing where it was like these people were recruited into this kind of a cult thing. And the idea had something to do with relationships and meeting people. I got to be honest, man. It was really, I got to look further into it. But it was kind of about. So the organization was like forcing these people into these like relationships and like encouraging them to like move in with people right away and like start having sex with them immediately and all this crazy shit. And it was just like the weirdest thing. But a few people were talking about it. Something about twin flame.
Twin flame.
Yeah. And it's like it's on Netflix. I honestly tried to watch it twice, and I was just like, I can't figure out what's
Is it
going
a
on.
series or is it just?
Yeah, it's a limited series,
Okay.
like 5 episodes or something like that. I recently rewatched something on Netflix that I like. It's called Exhibit A. Have you guys seen that?
No, I'm so bad with movies and shows. Oh my God.
This Exhibit A is dope.
Oh, Escaping Twin Flames.
Yes,
Okay.
Escaping Twin Flames. And what's it say it's about, Pat? Because I couldn't decipher the damn thing.
Team polls analysis Twin Flames universe, a controversial community that preys on people looking for love and pulls back the veil on how the community has hurt these people.
Yeah, so it's like this funky kind of like hippie kind of theme mixed in with like free love.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what that means. To be honest.
No.
I would just turn it on at that point.
I couldn't figure it out. But you guys should watch this Exhibit A. It's really interesting. It's about how criminal investigations, the science is totally imperfect.
Yeah.
And like it was really interesting. I mean, like some of the stuff about like trained dogs, some of the stuff about there was the first. You guys would really like. You guys have to. I'm telling you, like a couple of the boys would enjoy this. Like, I'll just give you the first episode.
Yeah.
The guy is like this dude who hangs around town in Killeen, Texas, and he's like this wannabe rapper guy, and somebody does a stick up at like the gas station that's like right near the little hotel where this guy lives, right? And more or less, like there's no way it could be this guy. Like the guy that gets in trouble for it is like 6'4", 6'5". The guy who like does the crime is like 6 foot flat. And it's just like a huge height difference, and there's all these little things that would have added up to this guy being innocent, but he's been in jail for years. He was in jail for years, right? And it just goes on and on, but about other types of evidence that just not just about him, but about other people that was completely imperfect. Like some guy gets carjacked, they steal his baby, and he gets convicted for having something to do with it with no body, no real.
Yeah.
The guy had a criminal record or whatever, but no real body, nothing. Just that the dog said that the evidence pointed to this guy. So it's just there's a lot of good stuff on Netflix.
Might watch it now.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. You from Canada, you're probably like, why? Somebody told me that Amazon's releasing a documentary about Alexander Daigle.
That I heard too. Yeah, that'd be an interesting story.
I keep seeing that on Instagram, but I see no. I haven't Googled it or anything, but I see no mention of it actually happening. But that would be interesting.
I'd watch that.
I would watch it for sure. Some of those high picks, we've talked about it. We had Patrick Stefan on the show. Yeah. Some of those high picks in the '90s were just crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and Daigle was one. He never really amounted to. I think he scored maybe the most he ever scored was like 55 points in a season or something. And that's hard enough. But yeah, it would be interesting to see. I would love to see some of the it's so crazy with Shoresy, and with what's the other one now? Letterkenny. Shoresy, Letterkenny. Yeah. I'm not. I know a lot of the hockey guys watch the show. I really don't watch it. It's nothing personal.
Me either. I don't.
I never got into it.
No.
no,
I guess I'm the only one.
No,
I
I'm
guess.
so
no,
bad.
I'm not against. I'm not
So
against
bad.
it. I just never
No,
really
I
got
know.
into
I know
it.
what you mean. I know what you
But
mean.
what I wanted to say about it is you would think that with the popularity of those shows, with the popularity of our own Netflix documentary about the Danbury Trashers here, you would think that like Netflix, Amazon, they'd be biting on putting out more. You know, what about a great documentary?
Yes.
You know, like there's been, and even stuff that came out way before that, like Last Gladiators. That's been on Netflix for years for a reason.
Yeah.
People like goon movies. That's been on Netflix for years for a reason. People like it. It's one of those things. Like, I think that the mainstream kind of whatever it would be, stations, cable, they're not bought into hockey like they could be.
No.
You know, somebody told me last year that I think it was you guys you definitely saw it advertised, Pat. They did a documentary about the Hartford Whalers
Yeah.
last year.
Was it News 8? That was like
Or
some
was it
related
like
to that?
Connecticut, NBC Connecticut, or something like that?
Something of that nature, yeah.
My point is like that's something that Netflix should pick up and put out. So
I know
that
they really should.
people could see it. You know what I mean? It's just like they never take a chance on hockey when it comes to the streaming, except this Letterkenny stuff and that, like, which is a total fluke. You know what I mean? Like they tried something like, you guys were probably in 6th grade when they tried Bench Warmers. That was a Comedy Central hockey show with the comedian from Queens, Chris DiStefano, was like one of the guys on the show. But anyway, I mean, yeah, there's really limited stuff to watch when it comes to like non-games. You know, even the 30 for 30, there's not a ton of hockey.
No.
Did they just?
Wish
I
there
thought
was
they
more.
made that one about the riots in Vancouver the second time around.
Oh, did
Did they?
I think they just came out with that. That or they've been planning on.
No,
making
because there's so much they could, you know.
that whole thing is crazy. Hold on, I gotta fact check that because I thought I
I gotta
saw
watch that
something.
too now. No, like I said, I'm so bad. Like all the boys are getting on me because you guys probably get on me too. But I never watched Step Brothers before.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, so and American Pie, never seen those.
Oh,
so
that's a
That I still
classic.
haven't seen.
yeah, so but Step Brothers was a big one. So all the boys around me that I've not seen that because I'm so bad with movies and TV shows. So we all watched that together, and because I always got all these quotes from that movie that I would never get, and then I watched, and then I was like, oh, okay, but yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's something funny too. You know, one of the great things is that you know.
Sorry, just real quick. Yeah, they did make one. It's called "I'm Just Here for the Riot." It came out in May.
Okay.
Okay.
That's probably why we didn't.
And
catch it,
that's
because we were busy.
That's
with,
about the Olympics or the Stanley Cup.
That's about the 2011 Stanley Cup riot.
Yeah. So,
Nuts.
so they also had like heavy shit when they had the Olympics there too. Like I
Yeah.
met the dude who lit the joint with the Olympic torch when I was in Vancouver. I think I did.
That's
Or
nice.
I met somebody who knew him, and I was the reporter who knew him and had every. But there were a bunch of dudes around that could have been him. What is really awesome now is that YouTube, you know, again, when back in my day, fellas, like there was this thing called HBO, and like your parents had to pay extra to get it, and you could never. That was another thing, is that, you know, like HBO and Showtime and all that, Cinemax, that was all curated for you. It's like, here's
Yeah.
what's going to play today. This is what's
Yeah.
going to play at 4:00. This will play at 6:00, 8, right?
Yeah.
So this Netflix stuff has just broken that all down. It's like, watch whatever you want. The streaming has, and now YouTube, if you guys notice, has basically demonetized movies. So it's basically like you can rent and buy movies from them, but now they have a huge library of free movies.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it really is amazing. I don't know how we got so deep into that.
I don't know how we did either, but I kind of like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's
I
your
like the-
favorite
yeah.
hockey movie, Stoy?
It's got to be Miracle.
Wow.
It's got to be Miracle.
Good
Like,
choice.
Canadian
Yeah,
likes
easy.
Miracle.
Yeah.
Wow.
you know what? Like, it has to be. There's so many. It's such a good story. Just the whole thing gets you fired up every time you watch it. So it's got to be Miracle. How about you guys?
I mean, for me, I love Slapshot.
Yeah,
I
hard to
gotta
beat
say.
Slapshot.
I know it's really hard to beat.
I really do think the Goon movies are well done, though. I think
Oh,
they're
glad.
really well done. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
great. And we talked about it last time. Is the Movieless Chiefs about like the old days of the LNAH? It's just such a great movie. It's on, like I said, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like those are some good ones. There are some awful bad ones too. Like there are some. What's the one with the monkey?
Oh,
MVP.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then there's the Bon Jovi has a hockey movie, which is absolutely it's absolutely terrible. You gotta look it up. Bon Jovi hockey movie.
Oh God.
It's like he's the coach. He's like the Vince McMahon of some all women's hockey league.
This already sounds like disaster. Bon Jovi, you said hockey. Hold on.
Yeah, it's like a National Lampoons, I
I think
think.
there's a reason why I never heard of it.
National Lampoon's Pucked.
Pucked. Yes, it's like a
Pucked.
terrible. What's the plot
God.
there?
A failed lawyer being played by John Bon Jovi uses credit cards to finance a women's ice hockey league.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
That's
sense.
wild.
Yeah, it's,
I have to check that out. That sounds like one of those bad movies that has to be good.
the
right?
sequels
They
to
have to watch it.
Slapshot are just absolutely terrible.
Oh, I'm not
I
touching
mean, they're
those.
just absolutely.
Just original, yeah.
The second one is really bad, and the third one is just, but the thing about it is, and we've met, Steve Carlson and who played Steve Hansen. It's like, like that's a money grab there to make that third Slapshot movie, right?
Yeah.
They're making it. It's like a kid friendly, the Junior League. It's like a kid friendly movie where the Hansen brothers are kind of like, Sesame Street characters or
Sesame
something in the
Street.
movie.
Yeah, but
Bert
this
and
doesn't
Ernie.
work. Yeah, this doesn't work.
But before we let you go, why don't you tell us just about, obviously the year's closing out, you're getting a chance to play pro hockey again. What's just been on your mind and these last few months since you started playing again? What's it felt like for you to be back active again here as the year closes out?
Yeah, so waking up every day, getting, to go to the rink and do what you love, like it's honestly the best feeling in the world. Like, so the NHL, but you've had the dream of, doing this every day since you're a kid, right? So, to get the chance to do that, it's just a blessing. I'm so grateful for it. But like I said, I remember last year during this time, and, obviously it's not playing is very tough. Especially not, being around the boys, being with the room is very tough. So, like I said, my parents, girlfriend, everybody was so supportive, to, keep going and to, now finally do it. It's hard not to have a smile on your face all the time, just getting to do what you love. But one thing I did miss, big part of what I missed was just being in the room with the boys, right?
Yeah.
We have such like a close team, right? Like everybody on the team is just all beauties, right? We're all so close, right? So it's just so fun, walk into the room every day and just laughing, and it's the best, yeah.
Were you able to finish your degree before you started playing?
Yep.
So you're all done?
All done, yeah. So because here there's an option that even for high school, I heard like you can take even online school. Is that true? Like in states, online high school and then even like university.
Well,
is
there's
that true? Because we
I
didn't.
know.
I'm sure in
Definitely for
Canada.
college,
I'm sure in Canada there's
It's different.
homeschooling. There's a
Yeah.
lot of it's. I think the online learning is kind of like not for everybody, but it's a
Yeah.
new version of homeschooling. I think it's
In a way,
in a
yeah.
way it's a new idea. Some people are big on it. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm against it. It wouldn't be for me. I like to. I'm just
Me
more.
neither.
Yeah, more of a. I
But-
need to be in the classroom, and I learn from other people.
Yeah.
So
But even like university, like so after we were only online because of
COVID.
COVID, yeah.
And then after that, I know some schools kept some of their courses online.
Yeah.
My school did not. We went all back to in person. So I had about last year 22. I had about 10 because
a boat.
about 10 courses I need to finish because when I was pretty nuts. So when I was in junior, so I played in Welland and St. Catharines, which are about hour and a half, hour 45 from Toronto, and I was full-time student at university, so I would be driving 5 times a week from Toronto to go play junior.
Wow.
So that's what I was doing to play. So took a few courts.
Do you practice 4 days a week, or
Yeah, 3-4 days a week. So it'd be pretty nuts. I just love the game, so I
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
I didn't mind the drive. But yeah, it was pretty hectic with that. So I had to take 1 or 2 courses less per year to do that. So my last year, so I had to take 5 years. So then my last year, about like 9-10 courses left. So finished that out, and then I was free to come play.
Was there no way you could have played like for a team right there near University of Toronto? Was there one?
I could have really, like I said, the only options were I could have maybe had something there with my school team, but like I said, I don't know. I wanted to look at what the best approach was, to get to where
Get
I
it
wanted,
done,
like I
yeah.
wanted to be, right? Like, I maybe could have played. We have pretty good like senior AAA hockey.
Yep.
That's what we call it, the Allen Cup and all that stuff too.
Who would you have played for, you think? Like,
there's a team called Wentworth. They're near Hamilton. I was talking to them, so playing that. But at the same time, like, I was looking ahead, so I didn't want to like play there, and I was focusing on just developing, trying to be the best player I could be when I come down here. So I was seeing like what would put me in the best spot to get to where I want to be, and I said, let me just take the year off and just train and just try to get better that way.
What was your degree in?
Kinesiology.
Really?
Yeah.
That's got to be a pain. I thought that's a tough one.
Yeah,
right?
so like that's why like even playing and doing stuff is very difficult. Like it's
100%.
have to balance out. Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Osteopathy. So that's what I want to go into. It's like a manual treatment of the body, right? Where similar to chiropractic, but a little different in terms of it's a practice, and it's a treatment where you treat all the joints, muscle, and bones in the body. And what I like about it is like if you come in, say you have back pain, let's say, right? It's the way osteopaths look at the body is you look at whole body approach, right? So if we're looking at your back pain, I'm also checking your hips or like all the way down through everywhere else, just to see what could possibly be causing that, and try to heal everything, because the whole body to work as one almost. Yeah.
So were you? I mean, this isn't a job interview or anything.
Yeah.
Were you a good student, like in high school and stuff? Did you do well?
Yeah.
So
A little bit of class clown, but so I just love making people laugh. So that's a little bit of goofball, but did that. But I always got good grades. Yeah.
I know that. I know of the University of Toronto's reputation. I know it's a well-respected school. Did you ever consider coming to school in the States? Like, was that ever on the table for you? Or?
Yeah, I did. So I did talk to a bunch of Division III schools at the time of junior, and what I didn't know was this was already when I was already in like 3-4 years down at U of T. Was that every year that you are a full-time student in Canadian University or anywhere, you blow a year of NCAA eligibility. So I did not know about that at all. So that's why. So I always wonder why guys are taking part-time university courses and everything. I thought it was just to like lessen their load, because it is difficult to be a student athlete, especially when like you're not even being a student athlete at the school. You're playing school and then junior. So I didn't know that. So then it didn't make sense for me to leave to play college hockey for 2 years. Didn't make sense. So I said, because I had my ultimate goal in mind. I always wanted to play pro hockey. That was always like my dream, my goal. So I said, what is going to get me there? What can I do to get me there? So I tried best I can, and it worked out. Right. So, but yeah, that's tough, because I wish I'd, if I had to play obviously college hockey and develop there too. But
when you were in high school, did you go to like a prep school? What was your background in high school?
No, just East York Collegiate Institute.
Was there like a regular school team that you played on there or no?
Yeah. So during I played on the high school team. Again, our high school hockey is different. Like there was not like competitive like that at all. Like where, in some areas here where the prep schools are, very high level hockey, you don't have to play on a rep team. You could just play high school hockey. Our like high school hockey loop is not like that, where it's at a high level. It's kind of just, that's
kind of like house
mix.
league, I guess. Yeah, guys who want to play, and more like a school thing, maybe scholastic based kind of a thing, club almost.
So like when I had a couple years off, like was it growing, and I've had a whole bunch of injuries. I broke my arm twice.
Jesus.
So when I was 14, broke it, and at 16, I broke it again. Because in that time I was playing, because all these AAA teams cut me, because I was not, physically ready at all. So I was just playing a year up AA. I was just trying to just get better, just stay focused, whatever. And yeah, so at that time also I was playing high school too, so I was getting extra hockey in, but like, it wasn't competitive like that where you can actually go somewhere from there, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's interesting, because I'm sure they probably still smoke some American high school by like 20 goals. You know what I mean? Like probably not every single one, but there's probably be a mismatch for a few.
There's some good like St. Andrews College and those ones, like that is legitimate.
I've heard of St. Andrews College.
Those schools, yes. The public school system, no. Like they're not going to be.
Probably not a lot of ice time.
Yeah, we practice one day a week, Monday morning. It was like for 50 minutes, and then we have one game a week. It was Yeah.
So Monday morning, one day.
Monday morning. It was nice. Sorry, it was at 7. It was 7 a.m. Monday morning.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like, while everybody else was playing rep hockey too. So it'd be all like.
I wonder if it's free to play.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So that'd be good. That was good.
Did you have siblings that played hockey? Your parents interested in it at all? Or?
No, I have 2 younger sisters. They are not hockey players at all.
Wow.
My dad played, not at a high level, just played growing up.
Yeah.
And
Played for the high school team.
not even, no, because my dad has a similar story to me. He that's where I guess I got the genes from, but he didn't grow either. He was 5'3" up until he was 18 years old, and then grew as well. So he played growing up, but he kind of stopped playing like after he didn't grow. Right, so that's where we're different. I kept going. Right, he just always there encouraging me to just keep going. But similar story in that we didn't grow, but he played like minor hockey and stuff.
Really?
So he taught me a lot. He's reason why I started playing this game, and I'm still playing. Yeah. So
have your parents been able to make it down here?
Yeah. So not down in Danbury. They actually came to
Watertown,
which was again 3.5 hour drive. So that Watertown game was.
I think you're only 50 or 25 miles from Canada. There was that sign. Remember that sign?
It's right at the border at Kingston.
Yeah.
Right there. So it's.
But there's a sign that we see. You probably have only seen it once or twice, or maybe you don't know it's there. But there's a sign that we see when we go out. We exit the fairgrounds there in Watertown, and it either says 50 miles or 25 miles to Canada. Remember, it's like Canada, 25 miles.
I haven't been to Watertown, so I still haven't seen that yet.
You weren't with us when...
I've only done Elmira, Bingo, and Carolina. I never went to Watertown.
Really?
Town.
Yeah,
No,
small town.
I want to go just once, just for the heck of it.
It's an interesting setup. It's because...
That was my first game. First pro game was there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The Watertown rink, if you know Danbury, the Watertown rink, where it's positioned, is on the equivalent of something like Rogers Park. Like it's on a fairgrounds basically with a base. They had a minor league baseball team that played there, I think in the 30s or something like that.
Oh,
and
okay.
and they also have not everybody knows this, but there's a fantastic book by. I want to pause it 1 second.
No, you're good. You're good. We'll just cut this.
There's a fantastic book by a friend of Wes Kahn about the semi-pro football team in Watertown. They're called the Watertown Red Blacks, and they've been around for I think that they're the oldest semi-pro football team in the country with over 100 years of existence in various leagues, and I'm pretty sure different kind of circuits that they've been on over the years. But Bob, I'm trying to think of his last name.
Oh shit! Wow, that team has been around since 1896.
That's crazy.
Bob Cowser, who teaches. He's a writing instructor that has visited I think he teaches at St. Lawrence University in upstate New York. He wrote a book about playing on the team, playing on the Red Blacks. And it's very interesting. He tells a great story, similar to the experience of the Hat-Tricks players. Weekend games, riding out on a little bit of a budget. It's a little bit different where I think a lot of those guys are just doing it because they love football. Yeah. Like they weren't really... I don't think many of them were pursuing like other jobs, other professional football jobs. But that's a great one if you like Bob Cowser's book for sure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's neat.
Yeah, Watertown. They play right there on the thing. So yeah, and but yeah, it's such a different experience when you play those 3 upstate teams. You have Watertown that plays basically in a community rink that fits about 1,200 people maybe.
Yeah.
Then you kind of move up a level, and you have Elmira, which is a great rink. It seems like it's located someplace that makes sense. We said it last episode. There's a great pizza place across the street. There's businesses right there, and they haven't been able to draw fans. But then there's the Binghamton experience, which they're drawing really well up there, and the crowds are just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what was the first game. Like I know what to expect personally because, like I said, coming off, year off, you don't know what to expect at all. But walk in there, like they it gets pretty rowdy in there,
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna lie, in Watertown with
And they hate us
yeah.
at this point.
Yes, but then going to bingo where you're like, yeah, this is, because it used to be an AHL rink. You're like, this is a rink, and they pack it, but I don't care. Still, no fans like ours. There's no place to play in like our rink, right? It's no a better place to play.
And I think that the thing about it is it really lends itself to kind of how special the league is. This is, people talk a lot of crap on Facebook, and I'm about to put a little knowledge down. Back in the days of the IHL, people think that the IHL that played in Las Vegas and Long Beach and the original Orlando Solar Bears and the Atlanta Knights and the original Grand Rapids Griffins and the Chicago Wolves, people think that was real minor league. They had the same problems. Yeah. I'm not going to say they had payroll problems. I'm going to say this and that. They had the same problems. All the rinks were different sizes. Mm-hmm. Fort Wayne and Kalamazoo, they just weren't the same size rink. Some of them weren't even shaped the same size. Like literally, the ice surface itself just wasn't as big as the next one you were playing. So listen, this is a throwback. The Fed is a throwback to the old minor leagues. It might be time, dare I say it might be time for the Fed to do a little identity overhaul. Might be time to think about doing a rebrand, at least a soft rebrand of some of the stuff. It's been a long time, but again, the product is only. I think the product has gotten better, and not everybody knows how hard it is to put together a league like the Fed is. People talk a lot of smack online. I was there in the early days of this league, and it was tough at first. But I mean, not to give anybody any bad light, but you take a look at this new league that's being started. I don't even want to say the name of it because I'm not against the people, but I don't want to put anything bad out there. But I mean, they just had an 11-1 game. It's very hard to start a league like this, dude.
Yeah.
You couldn't even do it today. You really couldn't, because there'd be no buildings. Unless you were doing it with the existing teams that play in the Fed now, you couldn't do it today. You just couldn't start it again.
Fan base, just everything you can. It's
fan bases, rinks.
Yeah,
this isn't like Canada, dude. In Canada, you could do a league. The reason they don't do leagues like this in Canada is because they have senior hockey and so much junior hockey the kids could play forever.
And even like we said before, like Toronto is like it's all hockey 24/7, right? So I don't know if we've tried. There's been any team around, like whether it's senior hockey or even OHL teams around, anywhere near Toronto. Can't, because there's, like you said, so much going on. You got minor hockey. The Leafs are the biggest thing.
Well, I think the Marlies get some interest, probably not a lot.
They'll get, like, when the Leafs aren't playing, they'll get more, but it's also because the ticket prices are so expensive for the Leafs games, so that's where it gives fans a chance to go. So it's like, it's weird because it's not like let's put it this way, how our fans are diehard and go nuts every night, which they'll get maybe about 5,000-6,000 people a game, but it's not like that atmosphere. Let's say it's like different type of atmosphere there.
You know what's so crazy? It all goes back to atmosphere. You look at the Federal Hockey League, and the one thing I can say, Danbury, Binghamton's starting to do it now. I know some of the down south teams are doing their thing, although I haven't been down there. I can tell you this much: it all comes down to atmosphere, customer service, and just kind of building that family and community around the people that are there from week to week. And I think that's one of the biggest things that sells this league, that keeps people involved, is that it's and another thing is they have their own set of rules. The Fed has its own set of rules. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in, listen, I don't know if it's still like this, but they were used to be outside of the IIHF, which means they had no affiliation with the International Ice Hockey Federation, meaning that anything they did, they weren't subject to being sanctioned by a global sanctioning body. It's just, and when you really look at it, we could do anything we wanted. I wish the people that organized the league saw that a little more. We could do anything we want in this league. There's no rules. You look at the AHL. Now, I know you're an AHL employee, so I won't let you, not going to let you comment, Pat.
Okay,
and I won't let, I talk a lot on the show, but I won't put Brandon on the spot. But when you look at even just the AHL uniforms look boring to me. I saw some pictures of an AHL game the other day. It looked like they were wearing like a practice jersey from 2006. It was like there's weird lines all over the jersey. It looks like a Reebok jersey from 2006 that somebody it looks like the third string design of a Reebok jersey.
No comment.
Well, I'm just saying. the experience, and I wish that the league, the Fed would embrace it. We could put anything on a jersey here. I got to check it out today. There's this great column on the OurSportsCentral.com. It's a website that covers minor league sports for probably 35 years now. But this guy writes a column every week, and he includes the temporary name changes.
Oh yeah.
When the teams rebrand for the weekend and they put on funny jerseys, he writes every single one that happens in that week. If he gets to it, he says, and some of the stuff is really creative, and I'd love to see the Fed get more. I don't know.
I want another Trashers night.
That would be great. Another Trashers night would be great, but
I
think
think that's coming up.
But
it's gonna be.
But you know what? I think
a whole bunch of nights like that.
You know what I think would be great? Let's do the Trashers night this year when we can do the St. Patty's Day jersey of the Trashers. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do it.
Cool.
Let's do it every year where we can do something different. You know what I mean? Like, that jersey is great, and I think that Dom still deserves a lot of credit for coming up with a great logo, and I think we should do more of that. We should.
I know.
Do you remember what's the AHL team? New Wave and Nighthawks too. I snapped before last year. They had.
We do that every year.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. Listen. People complained about the jerseys. I like the look of the jersey. It looked pretty slick last year. I mean, it wasn't tackle and twill. It wasn't tackle and twill, and I can understand why a lot of people didn't like that. But I thought they looked slick, man.
I know. I liked them better than the year prior with because they had the gray and the orange. I like the black and orange like that. That looked way more sleek.
Yeah. That one looked really cool. And I think that have you guys seen? We got to get Dom on, and maybe one of the players would be cool to talk about.
Oh, that'd be neat.
They didn't do any reverse retros this year, right? Were they every 2 years? That's over now, right? But
yeah, they did it last season. They're not doing it this season because it's the last year of the Adidas contract.
But we could have looked. We could have
Yeah,
looked at outdoor jerseys. You know what I mean?
Oh,
We
yeah.
could have looked at that. You know what I mean? It's just,
No, there's a lot. As a Red Wings fan, they had the first one they did. I was like really, I thought, what I wish they brought back was the 2014 Winter Classic jerseys. If they did something with that was
that the Gothic D?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. And it was when they played against the Leafs in Michigan and Ann Arbor. There, the big house.
The big house.
Those jerseys were sick. They did something with that, but even those, it's like iconic now. You can't find those jerseys at all.
It's tough.
Like
they did.
There's so many you could do.
It's crazy. I mean, we could talk about this all day, but some days it just feels like the NHL loves its traditions and stuff, but it's just like take a look at the Anaheim Ducks. They're about ready for a new primary jersey. It's just like
they've been ready for 5 years.
The thing is, they're holding on to the look that they won the Stanley Cup in. That's exactly what it is. There's no other. They're trying to stay as close to that, to keep that in the mind, and it just doesn't work after a while. The Islanders went back to it because they came up with a stupid fish stick guy instead, and nobody really liked it at the time.
Yeah.
But, can you imagine if the Islanders had stood with that? That would have been terrible. You know what I mean? That would have been so.
That would have changed just the whole.
Sorry, Nick Hershon. But that's something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Brandon, again, thanks for coming on the show.
Coming on,
thank you guys.
Hope you had a blast.
I had a lot of fun,
as much as we did. Obviously, we're looking forward to seeing you guys play at home this weekend.
Yeah.
Anything you want to tell the fans?
I think the boys love you guys, and this week will be different. We'll hopefully get 2 wins for you guys and make it a Merry Christmas.
Let's get it.
There you go. Happy holidays.